Hi everyone, welcome back to On the Road with Iona, and today we're going to the driving range. I thought it'd be really helpful perhaps to share with you what I do when I go to the driving range, how I approach it and what I work on. Thanks for watching. So I've got my balls, and as you know, I've got a wrist injury, so before you say don't hit off the mats, I don't actually find that good quality mats are a problem for my wrist. It's the same as hitting off grass, you know, there's always going to be an element of impact. The key for me is making sure that I've got good technique. That's what leads to my wrist pain if I'm not swinging the club properly. And the second thing is just not hitting too many balls. I've got a bucket of 30 balls here, and plus a few extras that someone's left behind, and that will be more than enough for me today. You know, it's good to work when you come down to the range. Sometimes you just want to like hit some balls, and that can be really good, like therapy at the end of a long day. Just get down to the range and like just shell some eggs. It can be really good just to kind of feel yourself relax and go like, oh, okay, I feel better now. But so often what I see people doing going to the range is not really having a purpose, and I've been guilty of this in the past, and then leaving the range having hit hundreds of balls or 100 balls and feeling even worse about their game because they've not come with a set intention and they've gone away and there's no reward at the end of it. So as I said, I've got 30 balls, and I'm specifically working on one thing in my game today, which is to do with my iron swing. Get my glove out. I've already had a bit of a dynamic warm up. I've done a few stretches. So, you know, it's really important to make sure that you don't go in, see so many people get to the range and they just start with like the driver or just go straight to a 5-iron, and that can lead to real like muscle strain. So I'll just start with like a few little pitch shots. Just get a little bit of rhythm and tempo. Really beautiful warm day, which helps. The muscles all warm up. I will make a separate video about the kind of physical stuff that I do to get ready for golf. But it's a lot less than what I used to do. So that's 3 60-degree wedges. I'm going to move straight from there to the pitching wedge. And I'm just going to hit a few more. Not aiming at anything really, I'm just loosely eyeballing something and I'm trying to kind of loosen up. Not swinging at full speed. Just nice, easy golf swings. So in my golf swing at the moment, I'm working on something that has been, the story of my life really with my golf swing. Now, from the top of my golf swing, and when I get to the top of my backswing, I've had this habit of dropping the club on the inside, my bum and right knee kicking forward and flipping the club from there. So the feeling I had to work really hard on is keeping my right knee back and rather moving in a lateral way rather than kicking it forward, and trying to bring my arms down on the same plane that I've taken them back on. So a really good drill that I use for this is called the towel drill. And you will have seen this on some of my social media posts. What I feel like this doesn't let my hands start to pick up at the top of the backswing, and in doing that it just means that everything stays much more connected. So I've tucked the towel under my right armpit and under my left armpit. I'm going to work towards that white flag in the distance. A lot of people ask how to set up an alignment stick, and the answer is to just like this. I've got the ball and I've got the white flag as my target. So the first thing I'm going to do is set the direct line from the ball to the target. I'm then going to get my second alignment stick and I'm going to set up train tracks, parallel line for my feet with the target line. So I can see that these sticks are parallel to one another. And so I can now remove this stick and know that if my feet are parallel to this line, then I'm in a pretty good place. So I've set up my station, I've got a target, and I'm going to work on, like I said, sets of 3. Right, so I have 5 sets of 3 balls, because as we know in golf, the most important shot is the first one. It's very nice when you get a second and a third, and that's obviously, we're here to groove in the feeling, but This is how I like to practice. And I'm also, trying to keep my lower body quite quiet. I'm not getting all dynamic. I'm just trying to keep my lower body nice and quiet, and I'm using this towel to get that feeling of really connected. It's just like already my golf swing feels better using this drill. I'm sharing this with you because this is what I'm working on. It's not to say this is what you should be working on. Could be totally irrelevant to your game. So it's really important that you go and see your coach or whoever your teaching instructor is, and they're giving you something to work on. What I'm more trying to share with you here is just how I take what I'm working on to the driving range in a structured kind of way. I've done 2 sets of 3, and what I might do now is get this little gadget out of my bag, which I keep. This is not endorsed or sponsored in any way, but it's really useful, so I'm just sharing with you. Again, not saying you have to do this, but this is something, as we all know, when you're trying to take a video of your golf swing, it can be really tricky, and try and find and balance it on something. More often than not, it collapses and you get a film of the floor rather than of your golf swing. So I've got this little gadget called an iRange. You can clip it on your bag, actually, just like on the back of your bag, or in this case I'm going to clip it to the bench. And on the back of my phone I've got a magnet that just magnets on to this particular little clamp, so it's really, really great, and it means I can actually get the video setting up. And I'm going to clip this onto this bench. There we go. I've actually got like a visual reference of what I'm doing. It's feeling really, really good. So that's another set done, and I can go back and I can just take a little minute, because like practicing golf is really hard. And no matter what stage you're at, whether you're just learning golf or whether you're an advanced player and you're trying to improve things, it's worth remembering just how physically physically demanding golf is on your body. And it's really important to take your time, and take it from me, standing there shelling eggs on the driving range, ball after ball after ball, leads to nothing but chronic injuries. And I've sadly learnt that one the hard way. And now one of the best bits of advice I have for people that are learning golf or improving their game is to go for quality over quantity, because every time you make a golf swing you're either improving or you're going in the wrong direction. So it's really important that you try and get that quality in everything that you're doing. Lots that I can learn from before I go in and hit another 6 balls, and if I hadn't stopped to take the time, then I might have just stepped in, because I can see from this video that my posture is actually really sloppy. So now I'm going to go back into this next set and really focus on that and make sure I really get it right. So good. And already, just great, it's a really great feeling, because it's so rewarding when you know you're going in the right direction rather than just standing like hammering balls. So I'm going to move into doing the final set of 5. 3 balls in each set with the 8 iron. Perfect. So I've hit 5 sets, 3 balls with an 8 iron. I'm going to have a little look at the video, take a little rest, and then I'm going to move to a 7 iron. Just tiny little things, to do with the way you address the ball makes all the difference. Right, so I've worked through 5 sets with my 8 iron, and now I'm going to set up 5 sets of 3 balls with my 7 iron. I'm going to go through the same thing. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Perfect. So I've got 5 sets, 5 opportunities. and this time I'm moving up a club. What I might do this time, but since we're talking about the basics and trying to make sure that the basics and everything we do are correct, I'm going to use the second alignment stick. I'm going to come in, I'm going to set it on the ground in a T position so that I can actually focus on my ball position as well. So when I hit my 7-iron, I'm looking for the ball to be in the middle of my stance. And you might think you're putting the ball in the middle of your stance, but it's amazing how quickly it can get off. And even if it's off just by half an inch or an inch, it can make a huge difference, because that affects where you strike the ball. If you have the ball too far back, you might come in and strike the ball with an open club face. If you have the ball too far forward, then the club's already turning on the arc. So if that's neutral and your ball's a wee bit further forward, you can see just even a fraction, the club is completing its arc, and therefore you might hit the ball with a closed club face. So ball position is really important and something that I notoriously get wrong. Like I say, with the towel drill like this, I'm working on connection between my arms and my body, so I'm not trying to get that like loose flying arms around at the top of the backswing, and I'm not swinging at full speed because of that. Just nice, smooth rhythm, tempo swings. Perfect. I wish I could do that on the golf course. Just like that. Checking my ball position. I have a tendency for the ball to creep forward, so here's the eye range set up behind me. You can see I'm just going to do the same thing with the 7-iron. Make sure that my posture is okay. Set up. This is the final ball with my 7-iron of these 5 sets. Try and make sure I get really nice posture. Make it a good one. So I've hit 2 sets of 15 balls in effect. One set with my 8-iron and one set with my 7-iron. Now I'm going to put the towel away because that was my training aid, that was the drill, and I've got a few bonus balls. I'm going to go back to my 8-iron. Again, because I'm not trying to make this harder than it needs to be. I'm trying to build my confidence, and I've got 7 balls left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these in. I'm going to take my training aids away, and I'm just going to start seeing if I'm able to implement the exact things I've been working on my own out towards that white flag. Perfect. Really nice. And that's it. So I've hit 35 balls more or less. Really focused, really conscious of what I'm trying to improve. I feel tired. It's been a lot of balls that, you know, you're really giving each ball 100%, you're focusing, concentrating, and I'm gonna leave this range. I'm gonna go and do some putting and some chipping now, and I know that I've improved my game. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a comment below. Perhaps let me know what else you'd like to see, what else you'd like me to share. And like I say, this isn't telling you what you should be working on in your game. This could be totally irrelevant, this drill. This is what I'm working on in my game. But it's more how I structure when I go to the range, and perhaps just a reminder that you don't need to hit hundreds of balls. Hope you'd liked it. Thanks so much.